Welcome to episode 10 of Challenging Approaches. Today we're heading to Madeira, an autonomous region of Portugal located off the northwest coast of Africa. Here lies a very interesting airport, formerly known as Christiano Ronaldo International Airport and informally as Madeira or Funchal Airport. It has two runway extensions, with the latest in the early 2000s extending the runway by nearly 1,000 metres, supported by a 32 metre wide by 57 metre high pre-stressed concrete girder bridge. This creates a unique tabletop style airport with sheer drops on both ends and parallel to the runway. Adding to the challenge is the surrounding terrain, which makes a straightened approach on either end impossible. The weather here is also known to be hazardous, with frequent bad weather and surrounding terrain making it for a particularly challenging approach. We haven't made this approach easy. In this video, we'll be taking the more challenging VOR visual approach to runway 05, which has us doing a 200-degree turn along the terrain with a short 1 mile final to land. The weather is also equally as challenging, with the maximum permitted winds of 20 knots gusting to 30 knots. As always, without further ado, let's jump into the cockpit. And welcome aboard this TAP Air Portugal Airbus A320 as we make our approach into Madeira. We're currently holding at Abusu at 3000, ready for the VOR visual approach into runway 05. We'll start by heading towards the Funchal VOR, which will be our initial approach fix for this approach. We'll then track the 212 outbound radial to 3.6 DME, which will be our missed approach point. If we're flying the missed approach, we'll track 139er to 5000. We'll continue to about 6 DME, which will then start the 200-degree turn onto final into Madeira. So I've added into the fixed page as well the Rosario and Gelo markers, which will help us guide us through the turn. I can go ahead and prep the exit of the hold by arming that there. You can also activate the approach phase. I'm going to go ahead and also bring out flaps 1. Speed is checked, flaps 1 set. So in terms of landing performance, so the weather is less than ideal coming into Madeira, so we've got winds 310 at 20 knots gusting to 30 knots with a auto brake setting of 2. That should finish us up around halfway down the runway. If we're lucky, we'll be able to vacate on Bravo. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the approach checklist as we're coming up to our descent point relatively quickly. So seatbelt signs we already have on. It's been quite bumpy, so always good to see. Landing lights are on as well. Spoilers, we'll go ahead and arm spoilers, and we'll set the auto brake to medium as well. So our first altitude restriction will be 1,100, which is what our target altitude will be on the approach. So I'm going to go ahead and put that into the MCDU and arm the descent as well. So we're looking relatively good for this approach. Right, we're exiting the hold at Abusu, beginning our descent relatively soon. There we go, descent has begun down to 1,100. So it recommends to be at a speed no more than 190 as we pass Funchal. We're already at 180, so happy with that. So the Funchal VOR is actually located on that spit of land, as we see on the nav display and up ahead. We can see it's just to the left of the wind turbines that seem to be working overtime with the current tailwind that we're experiencing at this stage. So I can see the airport off to the right hand side there as we pass through over the Funchal VOR. You can actually see that little circle on the headland there. As we pass Funchal, I might actually bring out flaps 2, so speed is checked, and we're going to go flaps 2. I'll actually go ahead and just set the speed I want. I'm going to target about 160 at this stage. So heading towards our mixed approach point, we can see it's good visual conditions. Still a 30 knot tailwind. So at the ring on the nav display is where we're actually going to initiate that turn towards Gello, and then to Rosario, and then down towards the runway. So passing the missed approach point, at this point I'm going to actually go ahead and bring back the speed to our approach speed of 140, and actually going to go ahead and take control of that. And because of the windy conditions, I'm actually going to go ahead and take control of the throttle as well. And we will not need the flight directors. So, drop the gear, full flaps. As we drop into gear, turn on lights, nose lights. And bring the descent back down. So we're about to cross that point, which we're going to begin that turn. Alright, I'm going to slowly start with a more gradual turn and then steepen the turn as we get towards Gello. A bit more speed there. Gello's located on that white house just on the side of that headland there. It's looking fairly good, a little fast, bring back that speed.
100 above. 1000.
There's the runway.
Minimum.
Continue. Heading towards Rosario. Looking for the puppies. Looks like 3 whites, which is looking good. We can see just how much of a challenging angle this is to make the approach. Keep it slowly turning. Still looking pretty good on the height. Speed's looking good. A little bit low.
500.
A little bit high, just correcting. Bit of wind off to the left.
400.
Still a bit high, bring that down.
$300. $200.
Oh, we're sinking.
40. 30.
Okay, looking good. Continuing.
20. Retard.
Clearing.
10.
There we go, touchdown. Spoilers versus green decel. I'll bring out the reverses. It looks like we've made the turn off for Bravo. Welcome to Madeira. Thanks for watching another episode of Challenging Approaches. If you like episodes like this, then consider subscribing to get notifications for any future episodes. Or if you have any other ideas for other airports, then please leave them in the comments. Hope to see you in the next one. Thanks. Passing over Rosario.
$300.
Waiting for that touchdown zone.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard,
I will thrust. No, go around. Toga and Toga SRS. Go around track. Runway, transitioning to looking at the puppies. Oh, sinking.
Oh, up.
40,
No, go around. Mantoga. SRS. Bring the flaps up to 3. Positive rate established, gear up.